we continue on
In our journey
to
the promised land.
Yes.
The promised land of podcasting.
Something like that. Joshua, what episode are we on here?
I think this is Joshua 7
might
or
be
8.
right. Yeah,
I think so.
it's hard to keep track because our notes that I made do not correspond.
I could look at, I number them
Oh,
when
yeah,
I
that's
post
good.
them. So, I mean, I can
do a quick
verify.
little-
The user will see this is, I keep it numbered.
That's true. That's true. You do a good job
Yeah.
with that. Well, while you're looking that up, I'll just do a brief kind of review, but working our way through the book of Joshua. We're in this, Joshua, if we want to kind of really get the overview, we have like before they've crossed into the land, they're crossing into the land. They take the land, and we're talking about Joshua and the Israelites dividing the land. Last episode, we kind of hit the first part of that. This episode will finish out chapters 18 and 19. Last episode, we talked a little bit about Caleb as kind of this good example. Then we talked
Caleb
about
from the tribe of Judah.
Ooh,
that
Caleb
good?
from the tribe. Yeah, because Joshua was like Ephraim.
Ephraim or Manasseh?
Or Manasseh. One of those. Yeah, Manasseh probably. We talked about that. I already forgot. So we have Caleb, this good example. Then we have a couple bad examples. Then at the end of what we're going to talk about today, we have Joshua as a good example. So it's kind of like bookended with the good, bad in the middle. If you're looking chiasm.
There's a word for that in the Navy, but I won't say it here. It's a little more on the little on the off color side.
Little, yeah, there we go. Well, thanks for refraining. And so if you're thinking of it as kind of a chiasm, you might be right where the middle portion is all negative. That's kind of like the major takeaway. Like we see these good examples, but really what kind of...
The majority is not good.
The majority is not good, and that sets the stage for Judges. What episode were we on?
This is episode 7. So it should be, the number of perfection. This should be the best yet.
Well, I love it. That's kind of the introduction. What we're going to talk about. Anything else you want to say?
I think that's good.
Well, let's go ahead and take it to the next level.
Let's fire up that twangy music.
From the heart of the Low Country in South Carolina.
It's the Take 2 podcast, where we take theology to the next level.
If we were still doing our banter at the beginning, you know what I would have done?
What was that?
I was going to just bring in like 10 or 12 or 15 dice.
Oh,
and we could just roll and see like I'd be curious, like we start with like, while we're talking, I would just be rolling and seeing if I could get like a match, like 5 in a row of something, or, because it's easy to get doubles, kind of.
Right.
Triples a little bit hard. It starts getting really hard once you try to get like 5 dice to all line up.
I have dice in my backpack.
Of course
we
you
won't say they're different. They're not just all 6-sided dice. Some of
Wow.
them are 20, some are 4, some are 8, 12. I don't know what they're there for. But I do have those dice.
I love you got it on your person because you never know.
You never know
when D&D's going to break out.
It's going to break out.
It's got to be ready. Well, I say that because there are lots going on as we continue to divide up the land. And when you think of lots, where else we read about lots in the Bible? I feel like fairly often you come across them.
Well, there's a guy named Lot, but that's a different context.
Yes, very different.
Well, they cast lots to not have to tear Jesus' cloak.
Boom.
Yeah.
Jonah cast some lots there.
Yeah.
New apostle casting some lots.
Yeah, the two that basically met all the qualifications. They couldn't decide between them. Didn't want to wait for Paul. That's my take on it.
That's your take. Yeah. And my, since it's in the New Testament that she's an apostle, it seems like we should just use it all the time. Lots are good. Let's just cast lots to make major life decisions. I'm just kidding.
I just keep throwing them until they do what I say that I want them to do.
They're like, this is great. So I guess what we can do is we jump into chapters 18 and 19. Lots of lots in these chapters. Like we often have done in this series, we'll go big picture overview and then kind of take a deeper dive. So the first part of chapter 18, we're going to see all of Israel assembled together for this. And we're going to see, the land's been subdued. God's people have like this opportunity that they don't do well on. This is kind of like that second half of a bad example that we saw last week. We see the land eventually, portioned out to the different tribes. really the rest of 18, a lot of 19, most of 19 goes through all these boundaries of all the towns, tribe by tribe. And then the end of chapter 19, we get to Joshua and kind of see him as this positive example. So let's get into chapter 18. What a time this must have been. Like, everyone comes together. Can you imagine that? Like, the whole assembly of Israel's together to, like, see what's going to happen.
That's a lot of people. I wonder.
I know. I should have looked this up. Yeah.
Well, it says, all of Jerusalem came out.
Yeah.
Was it every single person?
This is a great hermeneutical, like, what's all mean?
Right.
We take the Bible literally, don't we, Michael?
Right. That's right. But it's like,
someone might have been sick.
Trying to understand. Yeah.
Someone might have been like, not, off doing something. Maybe there's a crisis,
right. Well, did they leave behind some people to fortify each of the city states that they'd already captured?
Yeah.
That seems crazy.
Right.
Militarily, it seems crazy to put every single person at Shiloh. So I think maybe it's just a lot of people. A lot of people.
So 18 verse 1 says the whole congregation of the people of Israel assembled at Shiloh. And so this is, we're not going to talk about it now, but if you read something like, God desires that all should be saved or something, or if like, if sometimes all needs qualifying and you need to work through that, all that to say.
And maybe the whole congregation kind of means something like a quorum or something, or like representatives from every tribe or.
I think you're exactly right. They meet at Shiloh, which is a significant place that was really, in essence, the capital of Israel for like 400 years before, what's the word? When the glory departed from Israel with Eli and he died. I can't remember the word. The person like named their kid.
Ichabod.
Ichabod, yeah, exactly. There's a song that's
like
about Ichabod.
Crane.
There you go.
Yeah.
And so this was like a really big deal. Shiloh, this is where the tabernacle would stand. Later on, David would bring the ark to Jerusalem, but this was a significant place all throughout Judges. It's central in geography. Anyway, so we see here Joshua has got all the people's attention, announced that the land would be divided up. Can you read for us verse number 3?
So Joshua said to the sons of Israel, how long will you put off entering to take possession of the land which Yahweh, the God of your fathers, has given you?
So everyone knows what the task is at hand. How are they doing so far? Like Joshua's like checking in with them. Doesn't seem very positive.
Yeah, well, it seems like some have gone in and taken, and some are like waiting. I think we ended last time with people going, hey, we don't really have it. He's like, you do have it. Like
you do, yeah.
Cut down the trees. Go fight those people. Like you knew that was the deal when we came
and
here.
Maybe that was Manasseh. I'm not sure. They're like, hey, it was either Ephraim or Manasseh was like, hey, we have all these people. We're a large tribe, and he's like, you've got plenty of land to go. And they're like, there's chariots of iron. They're like, hey, some scary stuff there. And so what you just read, how much longer are you going to like put this off? And so now we've kind of moved from those tribes on the other side of the Jordan to the tribes like in across the Jordan
on the western side of Jordan.
On the western side, there you go. Get some directional input there. And what Joshua asked following this is he asked for 3 men from each tribe to go and scout the land and then write up a description. Potentially, maybe possibly this was to be motivation. Like the land's great, it's producing well, and again. A theme we see in Joshua, and I think all throughout Scripture is, God gives him this land, but there's also obedience to follow, where all of this is grace, all of this is a gift, but you need to act on this gift that you've been given.
Into what God's doing.
Exactly. There's diligence, and so they send out the scouts, and we kind of turn a corner to these lots that would be cast before Yahweh, and the land's portioned out. And again, a good time to familiarize yourself with a map. You can kind of like, if you're going to read this, you might want to follow along with the map. So you kind of see the east, west, north, south, like where they are, get an idea. Because if you don't, it might mean nothing to you.
Right, yeah. I have a good mental image of that land. We had a class on Israel maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And, you may think you have a good mental image, but when you're asked to draw it from scratch, you're like, oh, wait a minute, maybe I don't have a good mental image.
That's a good practice. Be like, okay, once you can, and if you can nail down some landmarks, at least you got something. You ask most people about, my son's going through like states, United States. It gets a little tricky too. You're like, oh, South Dakota, Colorado. Like, most people, I think, you can get like California and you can kind of get some of the borders, but sometimes, some of those square rectangle states, man.
Yeah.
They should have made some of these states more unique.
Yeah. I've been known to, for the quick side, to hand draw
Oh, the U.S.
the
map?
U.S. with the states in there.
Wow. You should, because one time for Impact, we had a challenge where it was like everyone got a piece of paper, just write all the states.
Oh.
And more challenging than you would think for a bunch of college kids. Where I don't think anyone got all 50.
That is crazy.
I think people got like 48 was like the most. Some people got like 42 or something. It was like, oh, we're sorry. But there was like not helper.
That's crazy. Because I think I could in short order give you all 50. Ooh. Maybe we do that as banter.
Maybe there we go. That'd be pretty. And then there was a time limit. It wasn't, but everyone was like done with their list and still thinking. It wasn't like you didn't have enough time. It was tight. Maybe it was like 8 minutes or something. It wasn't like 2 minutes. You know what I mean? Like you physically would have enough time, but it was like, oh, I forgot this date. Something to try at home. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And we work our way through.
So going from there, you should be able to like take the map of Israel, put where all the 12 tribes are, right?
Yeah, if you can do this, come on the podcast. You should be doing this. A good, I think, Bible trivia is like, just name the 12 tribes.
Yeah.
That's hard enough, right?
Issachar, not Issachar. Issachar.
I've never heard that. That's great. I'll never forget that. So we talk about Benjamin, and the formula, I think, is fairly similar for all of these tribes as the boundaries. They mention specific towns. They'll say things like for Benjamin, they received the hill country south of Ephraim, the land north of Judah. Simeon, if you look at a map, is kind of like all subsumed like within Judah's territory. Zebulun south of Galilee with Asher on the northwest. Well, we could just go on and on. Look at a map. It'll kind of show you where things lay out. And I think it's of note, just like with so much in Scripture, if you're looking at critics of Scripture, these chapters in particular are often criticized by historians for having cities that are anachronistic. We see this often. Doesn't mean I think it's easily explainable. Like if Joshua was writing this after the fact, or someone's writing this after the fact, it's like you might put cities that people are familiar with. You know what I mean?
Right, writing it after the fact, or even like cleaning it up after the fact.
Yes, that may be better.
Editing it after the fact. So I was looking at the statement that you had Simeon basically inside of Judah. That's very odd to me because we
like
always hear the two southern tribes, but it's really three.
It really is.
I got to do some more research on this.
Yeah, if you pull
it's the 10 northern tribes.
Oh yeah, you're looking in the map. Yeah, it's like in there. It's so interesting.
It is weird.
How these lots fell. Like it is kind of crazy.
Sorry, I didn't mean to get us off track.
No, you're great. And so that is like the majority of it's like chapter 1811 through 1948. We get to the end of chapter 19, Michael, and maybe you can read for us.
Sure.
The very end, verses 49 through 51, we kind of close out these chapters.
All right, verse 49 says, when they finished apportioning the land for inheritance by its borders, the sons of Israel gave an inheritance in their midst to Joshua the son of Nun. In accordance with the command of Yahweh, they gave him the city for which he asked, Timnath-Serah, in the hill country of Ephraim. So he built the city and settled in it. These are the inheritance which Eleazar the priest and Joshua the son of Nun and the heads of the households of the tribes of the sons of Israel distributed by lot in Shiloh before the Lord at the doorway of the tent of meeting. So they finished dividing the land.
Great. Joshua is held up as this positive example, just like Caleb was a few chapters before. The bad, negative, kind of in the middle. And, you look at this whole section. We said it last time. It's like there were these spies, 10 were bad, 2 were good. Yeah. It's like just echoes of that in this section. The chapter ends. The land has been divvied up. And so I think one thing that I was reading is that, you're doing your Bible reading, you can just like skip over all of this because it's like just city names, places you're not really familiar with. But even in this little section, it talks about, Hebron and Timnath-Serah. And if you're like looking at these places, they do tie in with like Numbers and Deuteronomy and Caleb and Joshua. It's like all of these things are very connected. And those are put in very intentionally for places that they sought out and saw. And I think we lose that in our Bible learning because we don't have the big picture. We're probably not, living in the Old Testament all the time either. So that really closes up chapter 19 where the land's divided up. We will, this podcast, look at chapters 20 and 21 to get some finishing touches. Things like cities of refuge, other things people are just super excited to hear about.
Cities of refuge are important.
They are important.
Especially if you might be, liable to accidentally kill someone.
Yeah.
You got to get to one close by.
No, exactly. Well, let's talk about that a little bit. If we get to chapter 20, the whole chapter is devoted to cities of refuge. Verses 1 through 6 recounts really what the Torah laid out, that there were these cities of refuge that could be temporary or an ongoing place of asylum for someone who unintentionally killed someone. I think in the Torah, the examples are like a tool slips. You're like chopping down a tree or something, and an axe, something like that falls, and it ends up pretty bad. And really, it is, you can think about these laws and be like, why would you protect? I don't know. It really is just to protect someone. You don't want another injustice on top of it.
Right.
A bad,
and
you know what I mean?
The thing is, if it's something like what we might call it a involuntary manslaughter or something like, maybe it wasn't self-defense, so you can't be like, hey, this guy came at me, but it was something that you may be slightly negligible for, but it was totally on accident. From what I understand, you could flee to the city of refuge. Now, if you were like lied in wait to kill someone, like what we would call first degree, and you fled there, then you would get tried, and I think you'd still get the punishment. But if you, I think from what I remember of the Levitical law, if it was on accident, you could flee here, and then you would have to stay here.
You would. Until the high priest died, at least, would be like the time frame, which maybe it's a long time.
Maybe you
it's
having a second accidental killing.
Yeah, I think about that. It's pretty funny. What I wrote down was you flee. You could flee to the city of refuge, and at that point, when more facts were known, there would be a trial of sorts that would take place. They could kind of see, oh, this was people are talking. This was not like this was bad blood, or there's not really any evidence that it was premeditated. And we mentioned the high priest death brings release, which is so interesting. And you look at, even a law like this, and there's so much, foreshadowing pictures of Christ. There's like a death of a high priest brings freedom, all these kind of things. Liberation tied to the death of another. The high priest death brings more freedom. The New Testament doesn't, connect this like explicitly but you read Numbers 35, and you read about how blood pollutes the land, so you can't, buy back land that's been, murderous and that kind of thing. Only like true atonement of blood can satisfy. So all that to be said, we go through these cities of refuge.
I think it's so wise.
It is so wise. It is crazy.
It's like you don't want a system where someone who accidentally kills someone, they get the same as someone who lies in wait. But you also don't want a system where it's like, oh, it's nothing.
That's
like
right.
There's a little bit of penalty here. Like you're going to be in this city until the high priest dies. You're going to be separated, estranged from your family. It's going to be, you're going to be. So there is a cost to shedding blood, even if it's like a little bit by accident.
You nailed it. It's like sanctity of human life is important. Got to uphold justice, but there is tension how to handle these things well. So in verses 7 through 9, we have 6 cities set apart as cities of refuge. Again, look these up on a map. 3 are in each side of the Jordan. And really, they're all kind of evenly spaced out north to south. Like, there's some method to
3
this.
3 in the north, 3 in the south, 3 in the east, 3 in the west.
Exactly right. Where it makes makes a lot of sense. I think I love this kind of stuff too. In verse 9, this is the law for not only Israel, but for sojourners too. So it's provisions for those who would kind of come alongside of Israel. So that's chapter 20. Chapter 21 talks about cities and pasture lands allotted to the tribe of Levi, which I think is interesting to read about too. Let's see if we want to read any of this. I'll just kind of give a big overview, honestly. Verses 1 through 3 talks about Levitical cities claimed in faith. Maybe read verses 1 through 3.
Okay. It says, Then the heads of households of the Levites approached Eleazar the priest and Joshua the son of Nun, and the heads of households of the tribes of the sons of Israel. They spoke to them at Shiloh in the land of Canaan, saying, Yahweh commanded through Moses to give us cities to live in with their pasture lands for our cattle. So the sons of Israel gave the Levites from their inheritance these cities with their pasture lands according to the command of the Lord.
Also, something you could easily just read over. It's kind of similar to the passage we read last week about that guy who only had daughters, and the daughters were like, actually, Moses told us we could do this. We're kind of like, this is happening now. Kind of the same thing. Like, this was our family talked about this. Now it's time, kind of carrying over God's promise that was, years in the past, coming to reality. They're like walking in that faith. That's verses 1 through 3. Verses 4 through 8 talks about these cities were determined by lot. And then the bulk of this chapter, verses 9 through 40, is just I should make you read this, Michael. Just just like
looking at those words, I was
Levitical
afraid I
city.
was going to get to a bunch of these names. I wonder if Bethlehem or maybe somewhere around there was one of the cities.
That's so interesting.
Because we do think that the shepherds were keeping watch over a priestly flock.
Yeah, let's just read
Jerusalem.
this real quick and we'll find out. No, I'm just kidding. There's
I looked there and it just says like 13 cities of Benjamin, and I didn't see actually any city names as I'm scanning, unless it's further down.
Yeah, you might be right here. Basically, the way this is organized, it's this orderly sequence where you have Aaron's descendants, which would be the Kohathites, 13 cities. Then you have the rest of the Kohathites that are not Aaron's direct descendants get 10 cities. The Gershonites get 13 cities, and the Merarites get 12 cities, all these different Levitical orders we see. And then we get to the end of the chapter. Some would actually say this is like, we often skip over this. This for some is the theological heart of the book. Can you read verses 43 and 44?
Yeah, it says, "So Yahweh gave Israel all the land which he had sworn to give to their fathers, and they possessed it and lived in it. And Yahweh gave them rest on every side according to all that he had sworn to their fathers, and no one of all their enemies stood before them. Yahweh gave all their enemies into their hand."
Great.
Do you want me to read 45?
Yep, read 45 too.
Not one of the good promises which Yahweh had made to the house of Israel failed. All came to pass.
Yeah, it's kind of this summary. One commentator, I wish I wrote down who said this, but essentially verse 43, you could say, summarizes chapters 13 through 21. You could say verse 44 summarizes all the victories of chapters 1 through 12. And then verse 45, talking about all the promises of Yahweh come to pass, kind of encompasses the whole book. It kind of has everything tied up there in a nutshell. We're kind of getting to the end. The land's been divided. We've got this positive example with Caleb, positive example with Joshua, these negative examples. But that being said, God was faithful. He gave them this land. They may have not walked into it, but God's promises are good. We're not done with the book, but you know, you kind of see a huge summary and encapsulation of what we've covered so far.
Very good. So we kind of look at what we covered in this podcast. We saw this is kind of part 2 of what we dividing the land.
Yes.
So we started out part 1 with Caleb as a good example, and then some bad examples from Manasseh. I believe it was Ephraim or Manasseh.
Yeah. I think it was honestly both Ephraim and Manasseh. Like both were not good.
Yeah. And then we picked up this one with further dividing of the lands and maybe some things that weren't as good because they were, remind me, what were the bad things that they were doing this time?
Well, essentially when Joshua was talking, he's like, how much longer are you going to put off taking the land?
Yeah,
it was kind of his take.
They just said waited to. So like, hey, let's get to it. And then we see that they gave Joshua his land at the end, according to it. And then the last chapter we covered was just the apportionment of the Levites' land, which was scattered all over because the Levites were there to be ministers all through Israel, even though like the main the priestly part was, I guess, at Shiloh for a little bit and then would have moved to Jerusalem. So there was a place that they had to serve, but then they were kind of scattered throughout we get to Judges. There's some weird stuff about a priest following a guy around and like, do you remember this? And he had his own idol.
Yeah, it's with Dan. Yeah, it's like the tribe of Dan, and it's all weird.
It's weird. It's weird. So
yeah, you gotta. Yeah, maybe we should do when we do
just
Judges.
Roll into Judges. Yeah, that's
so
craziness in there.
And then Michael read that kind of summary statement, end of chapters 21. Really, the rest of the book, as I'm looking ahead, we see a little bit more about the eastern tribes. They kind of return home back to their lands. They kind of finish out what they said they would do at the very beginning of the book. And then we see just a couple of speeches by Joshua, gathering the elders, gathering the people. It's, famous last words. We get to that
really famous. Like
exactly.
A lot of people might have this in their household.
Let that be a teaser. Like, oh, what words are this? And then we get to the end of the book. So great. Is it time to transition to the
last take?
The last take.
Yeah.
We actually structured this episode really well.
Yeah.
Like I didn't just skip over everything. So this is good.
That's good. Yeah. That's
great.
Good.
So you want to talk about the thing that you were going to be really nice and do something for me and then you didn't?
Well, we could. I assumed that I was about to get a bunch of Patriots hate on this.
Oh wow, yeah. Let's talk about that later.
This is our first
great.
One since
yeah,
the Super
let's
Bowl.
talk about it. How are we holding up? Are you at the point where you've like rationalized? You're like, oh, we're just happy to be there.
Well,
like it's great.
I think I said before
Yeah.
that we were happy to be there. Going from. So I don't know how that's rationalization. I think I said before last season.
So you feel good about your performance?
13.
You feel good?
Do I? No, I think I posted on Facebook, disappointed but not discouraged.
Oh, you feel optimistic about this will be the true test. They've got a first place schedule next year.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we would expect the Browns to go to the Super Bowl next year because they do have they have the easiest schedule next year. So I guess that just guarantees you're going to the Super Bowl.
Dude, honestly, I was very thrilled that the Patriots lost. Like, great, best part of my day. Not my day because it was the Lord's day.
Because you love the Seahawks.
I'm not a Seahawks fan. Not a Sam Darnold fan. But that being said, because they lost, I feel like I can say a few things nice about the Patriots because I was so happy they lost. Yeah. On one hand, Mike Vrabel's coaching plan, I was like, I didn't think he was creative. I didn't think he exploited anything. With that being said, if the Patriots get an interception on the first drive, which they almost did 3 different times, I think that's the game. And so I think he came in with the right game plan, pressure the heck out of Darnold, overplay all the receivers, jump all the routes. Yeah. He's going to make a mistake, and he didn't that first drive. And
I think he made some mistakes. We just didn't capitalize on them because we had hands on ball, so we were stopping the passes from going, but we weren't able to. So it's hard to say you didn't capitalize on the mistake, but you didn't get the interception and the pick and possibly pick six.
Because I was trying to think because I left that I was like, man, I feel like Vrabel's a good coach. Yeah. One of the better coaches out there, but I was like, man, his game plan was very vanilla. I think his game plan was
he's more not going to make defensive side.
Yeah, he was like, we're not going to make mistakes. Mm-hmm. And they didn't make a lot of. It just and I think that's probably would work sometimes against Sam Darnold in particular. Yeah. But man, I guess it. Honestly, watching the Patriots, it reminded me of watching every Steelers game this year. Yeah. Where as soon as the ball is snapped, you got to throw it right away. Or you're getting sacked. That was that. Yeah. It's so annoying. 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out.
Couple things to that.
Yeah.
Well, first, we knew that Big Country, aka Will Campbell,
dude, he got
playing on a torn MCL. That's tough. Yeah, as a physical therapist, that's tough.
It is tough to think. At what point is your depth chart so bad? I don't know. It's if someone has torn, if they only can use one leg, I'm like, man, how
you could use it. I think it's just painful. So you're just not at 100%, but maybe the best they had to go there. But then this was a couple of days ago. So this is kind of recent. I don't know that we've talked about this. I saw a podcast. It wasn't Dudes on Dudes, which is a really weird name.
I will concur.
But it was another podcast with football players. And they're the rumor mill is that there was a tell.
Oh, I saw this too. Josh McDaniels, you're a terrible coach if that's true.
Well, yeah. Was it Josh McDaniels? Did they say? Because I haven't heard who. No one said where the tell was coming from.
Yeah,
but
I saw this too.
They speculated maybe it was one of the offensive linemen was doing something. There's a guy.
It was it was how the offensive linemen lined up. They were slightly, I don't know what it was, but they said it was every time play, pass play. We know.
So if you know that, that's a huge advantage.
Huge advantage.
Because there is film of them going run play, pass play.
Yep.
There's a guy that came and did a clinic back when I was coaching football, and he played the NFL, and then there's some things that happened in his life that wasn't his fault, but took him out of the NFL, and then he played in the Canadian leagues. But he was telling us, he was emphasizing, do everything exactly the same.
Same, yeah.
And he was saying that for him, when it was a pass play, he would unconsciously riffle his fingers.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah.
And that was all there was. Like he would be in his line and he'd riffle his fingers, and they picked up on it. And then he's like, it tore me up for a game. And someone finally said, hey, you got to fix this. So it could be something small like that.
That's like genius. If the Seahawks, to me, it's like, man, that's a great use of AI, is to just look at everyone and just see does someone do something weird?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And
because you would think you could, because Josh McDaniels is supposedly this offensive genius that
what
if you
do
can't disguise,
supposedly?
well, if you can't disguise a run play versus a pass play, that to me makes me wonder. And it might not be his fault, but it's you feel
it's
if you
it
were,
depends on what the
if he knows,
is.
he might be like, "Hey, bro, don't do that. You're messing up my offense." I'm not that he should know everything, but
if
and I bet the
don't know-
Seahawks just kept that under wraps. If you found that out and you're just like,
Yeah.
"We're not telling anyone until we play
yeah.
them," that is so smart.
Then there was a former defensive safety, now CBS analyst. He was looking at the just making sure our recording's good. Looking at the footage, and he was like, there are blitzes that the Seahawks ran that if the Patriots are not doing the exact play that we were running, I say we as a Patriot, then New England is probably scoring.
Yeah.
He's I don't know how they know, but somehow he's like, I'm not accusing them of cheating. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that these are such dangerous blitzes that they only work.
Yeah, it's very risky.
If they're dialed against, and time again, they were dialed against the exact play that they needed to be. He's like, it was
That's crazy.
They knew the play. So if you take that plus a young Drake, young Will Campbell, an aging Moses on the right tackle, you can see our offense did struggle. So it's like, I think there's lots of blue sky.
You feel good about Drake?
I'm optimistic.
You feel good about Drake?
Absolutely. I love Drake May. Yeah.
We'll check in next year. I do think Drake May is really good at throwing the deep ball, but man, it's hard to evaluate when your line's bad. Honestly,
he was second runner up for MVP for the regular season.
That's true. That's true. With the easy schedule, I think next year we'll tell. I'm curious to see how next year.
Obviously,
comes out. Because his last 4 games were not the best.
I'm not claiming.
Yeah.
I'm not claiming that he will surpass Brady or even Mahomes. The Mahomes that as much as I'll say right now, Mahomes has for career, even though I cannot stand Mahomes, I put him above May. But I think that May has potential to surpass Mahomes.
I'm so
but time will
interested,
tell. Like you said, time will tell.
Time will tell. Yeah, it's it was so crazy. I really wonder the Seahawks defense, how their coaching room is it do they just know all that stuff for all the teams, or that is I feel that's such a smart.
I would think that if they are doing something nefarious, that's
not nefarious.
Their coaches wouldn't get into the Hall of Fame. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. But man, because it was man, he was under duress the whole every single he got sacked 7 times,
6 times
every or on average. I think there was 28 sacks in the playoffs for him. He got sacked over and over.
Average of 7,
maybe something like that. It was a lot. He got just berated, which I don't understand. What you would hate to see. I'm curious what they do is the Bengals move where it's hey, we only pay receivers $bajillion and our quarterback $bajillion, and we don't pay for any of our lines.
I see. I'm almost sick of all the Patriot stuff because all of it is. I hopefully I haven't sounded like I'm just giving a bunch of excuses. Hopefully I'm saying, hey, we got torn up. I think these were contributing factors.
Yeah.
But I see a lot of Patriot stuff, and there's a lot of excuses and a lot of looking forward to rebuilding, and it's all. We need a true number 1 wide receiver. We need a good edge rusher, and I'm like, bro, we have to figure out / fix the offensive line. The O-line has to perform better in the future.
Because Drake, I don't like Drake May, but
you don't like Drake May.
I don't like Drake May.
Why don't you like him?
Oh man, just the way he looks. You know what I mean? I told this to Chloe. He just looks like a spoiled rich kid. That's what I think. That's what I think with me. But for all the things I don't like about him,
I think he's a brother in Christ.
I think I think he can throw a deep ball good, and I think like Booty and Diggs were like great. I mean, like if you have that, you'll be like fine if you can protect Drake May.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because he's an accurate quarterback. I know you'd like to think like his shoulder was pretty banged up. That like because he was so accurate in that
killing shot injection before the game.
Because he was so accurate the regular season, and then he was so inaccurate in the playoffs. By comparison, it's like he played really poorly for several games in a row. That was uncharacteristic of the regular season.
You thought he played poorly against the Chargers?
Maybe not the Chargers.
Okay.
Maybe just the
Texans?
once he progressed. Correct. I think
You thought he played poorly against the Texans?
I think did not play great. I think he had a lot of fumbles. He actually I think I think he was not taking care of the ball very well in a lot of these games. And I don't think maybe he played better than I thought. Maybe he was lighting up the Texans and anyway. But
we'll see.
We will see.
It's surprising to me that is it just because he has that logo that you don't like him?
Oh, that's most of it. Most of it. Yeah. I'm like just conditioned. Boston sports are just like,
all right. Yeah.
It's just brutal. It's hard. I do like Jason Tatum, but that's the one Boston guy. Most Boston people just like, yeah.
How about Henry, the tight end? I mean, there are a lot of. I don't know if I said this on this podcast or not. But there are a lot of, from what I can tell, genuine believers on the Patriots.
Man.
So I'm like Travion Henderson. There's a video of him saying, at Ohio State, I was a believer, but I wasn't living like it. Living in immorality, and I just went, kind of just lean on God's forgiveness. He's like, one day I woke up and I was like, I can't keep doing this. And he like told his girlfriend, like, we got to stop this. If you need to leave, you can leave, or you can go to church with me. He's like, she started going to church with me, got baptized, got saved, got baptized. They lived, moral lives, and then got married, so it's like,
that's good. I hope it gets traded. I do.
What's that?
I hope it gets traded. I do.
There's not a lot of social clout that comes along with that type of testimony these days, because totally most people in the world will be like, you're crazy. Like,
that would be, my hat's off to that for sure. Stephon Diggs, believer too. Does he same moral lifestyle? Are they on the same page?
Oh man, we need to pray for Stephon, but man, very, very charming. Very charming.
Yeah. It's great. Well, that's good. We'll wrap up the Super Bowl.
I guess no more football talk for several weeks.
I will say this is what I did hear about Charlie Puth. I heard someone made a ton of money because he like went to the stadium like right out, like he just like parked, like he wasn't even in the state. Like somehow he was able to hear Charlie Puth's practice of the national anthem and timed it. Yes, and bet total and got
Did
it.
Anyone? So I'm a pretty emotional guy.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes, and I feel like I'm a patriot. So he's singing, and to me, the flag, that Star-Spangled Banner, speak to the ideals of what America should be, not necessarily what we are all the time. And so I'm sitting there and praying for America while he's singing and stuff. Yeah. I get a little tear in my eye. And you turn over and look at me. He's like, "Hey, do you know that people bet on whether people are going to cry?" And then you're like, "Well, I mean, people on TV, like I'm trying to wipe away my."
Oh, it's great. No, because I was like, there was some odds. Like, I think it happens like once every 3 Super Bowls where like a player cries, and I love like the betting. Like it has to get specific. Like eyes can't be watery. A tear's got to be streaming down the cheek for it to count. And I didn't see one. I didn't see one
either.
But there you go.
Betting's ruined sports.
I know it's like all over the place. It's like it can't be great.
Yeah.
I'm not an anti-betting kind of guy, but I do think it's like just so ingrained. It can't be good for culture. Like I think a lot of people can handle it. I think a lot of people cannot handle it, and that it ruins.
Well, the stats are the people who can afford it the least are the ones doing it the most. So
yeah, man.
Yeah. That's why I buy lottery tickets all the time.
Hey, great. Well, anything else on this last take?
Oh, I think that's good. Yeah. Go Pats.
Go Steelers. That's our take. Thanks for listening to Take 2. Find us wherever you find podcasts and on YouTube for those who want to watch our video cast.